Kelly Cannon, Jared Kovili, and Tracy Rindlisbach. Jazz Hands and Mammoth Plans. Jordan Innovation Lab.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you. Hey friends, we're excited to be here today to share with you Jazz Hands and Mammoth Plans. That's our mammoth symbol. This is a story about the Jordan Innovation Lab. So this is a new project here in the Jordan School District that we just opened up this school year. So we want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing and kind of the impact that it's having. As was mentioned, I'm Jared Kovili. I'm the Digital Teaching and Learning Administrator for the district. We have with us as well Tracy Rindlisbach. She's our Computer Science Specialist for the district. Kelly Cannon, a Digital Learning Specialist. And we've got Tori Hadley, who runs the Innovation Lab for us out at our elementary school. So we're excited to be here to share a little bit about what we're doing and kind of how this project got started and what we use this for. So the first thing that we just kind of want to have you kind of think about a little bit is what is an innovation lab? So we wanted to have a space where students can come that allows them to not just use cool tech tools, but to foster critical thinking skills and use kind of problem solving skills through a process. So we're really trying to focus on the design thinking process and helping kids to kind of use cutting edge technology to help them build things to demonstrate what they've learned. I'll just tell you the biggest thing that kind of happened to us is we had a partnership. So our Jordan Education Foundation came to us a year ago and asked us if we wanted to be involved building an innovation lab because they had gotten some funds from the Smith Entertainment Group. Now you say Smith Entertainment Group, I'm not totally sure who that is, but that's the Mammoth and the Jazz. So that's Ryan Smith and his philanthropic organization that kind of puts money out into the community. So they came to us in a partnership with America First Credit Union and asked if we could build a space where we could use technology with students. And so we were very excited for the opportunity and the challenge. And we're going to tell you over the next few minutes a little bit about what we've done and kind of the goals and how we've accomplished them. So I'm going to turn it over to Tracy.
all right. So when we got asked a year ago to create an innovation lab, we were really excited, and Kelly and I went and visited a whole bunch of different labs around the valley, and even we went into UVUs. And we decided our goals were we wanted it to be sustainable. We didn't want it to be like a one and done. We wanted it to keep going longer than a year. So we were really big in the sustainability piece. We wanted it to be easy to use for the kids and easy to use for the adults, because sometimes they're harder to get to buy in than the kids. We wanted it to be project-based, and most of all, we wanted it to be fun, because we love to have fun, and that's fun. So we thought, what aren't students doing in their classrooms or in their rotations that we could incorporate into the lab? And we wanted it to be something maybe a little bit bigger, because the field trip that they take at the lab was gonna be a couple hours long than they could do in a rotation time. So before we thought about what we were gonna do, we thought about shopping. So we were gonna buy a whole bunch of stuff, so we started shopping for it. And Kelly and I had a great time shopping. But we decided on, this is what we initially got, was 5 bamboo 3D printers, 5 chomp saws, some make-dos, 6 toy box 3D printers, 20 iPads and iPad holders. We've expanded some of our stuff because we bought, I think we have 11 toy boxes now, some more chomp saws, because we realized that we needed more so that the students weren't waiting in line. These are make-dos. They help put cardboard together. They work in conjunction with these chomp saws, which are super safe saws. They're like high-speed hole presses. Students will never get their fingers cut on these. And then we have toy boxes. These just work with iPads. So we have iPads that we use for a lot of things, for pretty much everything except for the engineering field trip. So the toy boxes work with the iPads. Students are instantly printing with these, which are so exciting. Our bamboos, they also work with iPads. And we have students model on Tinkercad, and then they get to print their stuff on the bamboos and the toy boxes. Lastly, we have stop motion animation, and Tori is a stop motion animation expert, so I'm gonna have her talk about this.
For stop motion animation, we use the app Stop Motion Studio, and we have the free version, and there's so many different options that you can do on that. It's awesome too, because kids will come in and they're like, oh, I've already used this, and so it's so fun for them to be able to help me teach the other students how to use it and they learn way more than I know on it. And then we use different kind of stands to hold it still, and we really talk about all of that.
Yeah. So we found a home for our innovation lab at Juniper Elementary. It's a 4 through 6 school. It's inside of Jordan District, obviously, but the principal at Juniper Elementary was really helpful and really supportive in us putting the innovation lab inside of there. He's a really innovative guy, and he was like super stoked about 3D printing, and he actually helped us like get started with some weird things that were happening with our printer, so we were way excited for him to help us. Any student who's in Jordan School District can visit the lab. Right now it's the 4th through 6th grades. Since Juniper houses 4th through 6th grade, we decided we would have them help us kind of with our lessons as we were like feeling them out and deciding which ones were working, which ones weren't. So next year we're hoping to open it up to more grades to come and visit the lab. We offer these 3 field trips: engineering, which would use the chomp saws and the make-dos, 3D printing, and stop motion animation. So what happens on a field trip? So we were like thinking, oh, we could write lesson plans for field trips, we could do this, but then we thought, how would we know like what they've learned in their classroom already? Like maybe I teach Pioneers at the end of the year and Kelly teaches Pioneers at the beginning of the year, so we decided to make it content-based. So whatever the teacher's teaching in their classroom, let's say it's like rocks and minerals, they'll work on that content in their classroom, and then they'll choose what kind of field trip they want in the lab. So I'll be like, we worked on the 3 types of rocks. So now I want to do a stop motion animation field trip based on the content my students have learned in the classroom. So they'll come in the lab, Tori will teach them what they need to do to make stop motion. She doesn't have to be an expert on rocks and minerals. She looks up stuff for sure, like she's prepared, but she looks up stuff to make sure that she knows how to help those students, but she's really there just to facilitate the stop motion or the 3D printing or the engineering field trip. I'm gonna have you go, Tori.
Okay.
She's gonna talk about the schedule.
Perfect. And with the field trips, I always collaborate with the teachers, like what is your expectations? What do you want the kids to be able to show during this field trip, just so that we're on the same page. But during the field trip, we really like to keep a majority of the time for the students to use the design thinking process and creating and testing and iterating. So at the beginning, I'll intro the lab and the tools that we're using, and then they always plan whatever they're doing that day, and then they get the majority of the time to create. And then at the end, we like to show a little creation showcase, and so that the students can see what everyone else created. And then we talk about at the very end what careers they could do with what they learned. So if they're talking about 3D animation, then we're talking about what jobs they could do in that career.
I think they're most stoked about content creator for that one,
They
for
are.
sure. This is like a field trip that I saw run the other day. The students in 4th grade read in their Wit and Wisdom, which is a Jordan literacy program. Thanks, dude. And they read all summer in a day. And then they made their stop motion off of that. If you don't know what this is, summer happens only once every, 7 years, and they locked a little girl in the closet. So these are pretty big bummers, but that's what it was. But they made their stop motion animation based on that. And you can see like some of them just made their characters out of pipe cleaners. Some of them used the characters they found in the box. Some of them used speech bubbles. They made their backgrounds. And they started off like kind of like, we don't know what's going on, and I'm sure that's always the same. And by the end, like they're building these amazing things.
One thing that I'll just mention is you kind of look at the, go back one slide if you don't mind. So the materials, this is always a question that you get is, how do you determine what materials you're going to have? So we have about half of our materials we would probably say are consumables, meaning that we need to replace them when they're done using them. So like the pipe cleaners and a lot of, the popsicle sticks and things like that. We have a ton of that kind of material that does need to be replaced. But then we've intentionally tried to make sure that we have a lot of Legos and other things that can be reused repeatedly, because we just need to have a lot of different content available to the kids.
I do stress too, before we go into projects, that this is a field trip stop for most people, and so that things that can be reused, like if they're just using paper for a background, that they put it back. So anything that doesn't get cut up or used poorly, that the kids can reuse it. So we do talk about the sustainability because I think that's important for kids too, to understand that concept.
For sure. I'm going to have you talk about this, Tori, because this is part of the field trip, the design thinking process.
Okay, so we talk about the design thinking process with every field trip that comes in, and we talk about the ask, so what's the problem that we're solving today? So usually we're talking about what content and what they're supposed to be creating using that content. And then the next part is our imagine, so we're brainstorming our ideas, and so it's super cool. At the lab we have whiteboard desks, and they're always so excited about that. And they get a sketch on their desk, their little brainstorm or their storyboard, and then we come up with a plan of what we're going to use. So especially for the stop motion, I have them list out what materials they're using, the beginning, middle, and end, and we create that detailed plan so that when it gets to the create and the test and the iterate, that they have a plan going into it, and it runs a lot more smoothly when we are really detailed in that.
I've noticed on the field trips I've got to come out and see, like, they go through the first couple pretty quickly, and then when they're on the create, test, and iterate, they're kind of like going back and forth and like testing and iterating and going back to that create because they're trying to decide like what works best.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then to sign up for a field trip, we have a form that the teachers fill out, and it has what content, what grade, your email, all that different information, so that I can create this field trip based on that information that the teachers provide for me.
I also like that it makes them list a standard that they
Yes,
connect it to, so it's not just like, we want to come and do, you know, snowballs.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would just echo that that's really important for us, that the teachers are involved through the whole process. We don't want a class really just showing up with no idea of what they're going to do other than they want to use cool tools, right? So we really try and have the teachers prep so that they're ready when they come, to have the students ready to build and, you know, to do the creative thinking process.
So we were trying to get the word out to our teachers that, hey, we have an innovation lab. We would love you to bring your students. And so we posted it on our Instagram. We emailed like coaches and people we worked with in the schools. And then anytime we had a meeting or a training or we went out and talked to a coach, we would heavily endorse our lab. We'd be like, have you been there? Did you know there's free field trips for 4th grade this year? We really want people to come because we think it's so valuable. And the learning that happens in there is amazing, just to see them like take the content they learned in their classroom and then build a project out of it. Like, it's wild to see what they do at the end.
And it's crazy too, like the little amount of instruction that I give and the different products that come out of it. And the other thing is once we get teachers in, then it snowballs from there because it's word of mouth. So I've had a lot of teachers from the same school or the same team sign up and they want to do the same project. And so we've been doing a lot of word of mouth, and which has been awesome.
And I'll just say, we launched in October. It took us a little bit to get our feet underneath us because, like you're saying, all of these things require that people kind of first figure out what we're offering, and then somebody's got to kind of come and show what's going on. But since we've really kind of gotten the process rolling, Tori, you want to share, like, what does the calendar look like right now through the end of the year?
We have about 2 to 3 field trips a week, which I'm there 4 days a week, so I usually get 1 prep day a week, and then I'm doing field trips, which is so awesome, and it's been so fun to get all the different kids and different schools out there, and we're doing lots of different things. But so some of our field trips in action, we had South Valley Life Skills students. They came and they run a soda shop at the school, and so they printed little charms that they could sell at their soda shop, which was so fun, and they were so creative. So all of the students got to design their own little charm on Tinkercad, and then we got to 3D print it. So those are some of the examples that they did, and they were obsessed with it. It was so fun. And then this is the Southland After School Print Club, and so they came after school and they got to learn how to 3D print.
They based their project, they asked us if they could like work with us. They came to the lab and were like, we really want to 3D print, but we're not sure what. And we found that the Utah STEM Action Center was having like a, oh my gosh, what's it called? The 250. Yeah, they were doing county coins, a contest, there we go. They were having a contest for students to design coins based on Utah counties. So the students learned how to use Tinkercad, and then they came and designed these coins, and they were like so good. And like it took us 3 weeks to get all of it done, and these were the end results. But the students were like thinking, they're like, I want to do whatever county four corners is in. And I was like, oh my gosh. One of them did like a roller coaster on their coin, and then they could take their STL files and send them off to STEM Action Center if they wanted to enter the contest. But it was like so exciting seeing it from start to finish. Like they made these, and they were like so proud of them, and they should be. They're amazing.
And then a few of the other field trips we've had, this was an engineering one. We were talking about force, and so they had to build a tower that could withhold some textbooks on it, and anything with the chomp saws they're obsessed with, because it's so fun for them to cut and be able to create. We've done a bunch of different stop motion. This has been our most popular field trip. This one was for equivalent fractions, which I think is so fun that we get to use all these different standards that they're doing. This one's incredible. It's so fun. And then we've had a few other schools come and do space themed. This one was just kind of for fun. The teachers wanted to just see what it was about. And it's so crazy because I give the same instruction every time, and I never tell them what to do. And it's crazy how creative they get and how they just know how to do it. And then this is another one that we did with life cycles. So they talked about the frog's life cycle, which was so cool. And once again, I didn't give them any instruction besides how to use the app and what to do, and they come up and create with all of that.
But I think it's cool that they're learning in their classroom before they come, and then you just are like, hey, this is how we do stop motion, or this is how we 3D print.
And the teachers have been really awesome about making sure that they're prepping the students before time and really going deep into what they need to do. And then this is the Innovation Lab form that they fill out, so they give us the grade, the standard, what project they want to do. And I've been very organized with it, just keeping it in track because there's a lot of different people that are on this form. And so I want to show that I'm doing my job of keeping track and getting back to people and getting those scheduled. And then,
We made this because we love Tori and we want her to stay forever. But we just wanted to organize our lab so we knew like what was going on and like how we could, get the materials out to Tori. So like all the things she needs for the lab are inside here, like our field trip form, like design thinking's in there. Field trip info this year, I might not have talked about this already, but our superintendent and Jordan Education has funded buses for us for fourth grades across the district to come to the lab for free. So that's like field trip information Tori needs to know. All the field trips, like slide decks are in there. But then we were like, what happens if Tori's sick? So we put in there, contact us. That was easy. But we were trying to think of like everything that we could possibly put in there to make it super easy for Tori to run our lab.
Okay, so for our final minute, what we've got is, what we're really excited about is building capacity of our teachers. And we've mentioned all along we want our teachers to be able to take this back regardless of whether they can actually bring their students to this field trip. So we actually got this idea from the STEM Action Center. They call it Tinker Time, and they have open drop-ins on Fridays. So we do the same thing in our district once a month. We invite teachers of every grade level, even secondary, even though we're an elementary-based lab. For now, yes. And we'll do projects with them. We'll help them 3D print, and we hope that those skills will be taken back to other classes in our district. Also, like we've mentioned before, our sustainability, and this is still a work in progress, but our plan is to have either a before or after school 3D print club. We want our students at this school to be able to print and then sell these prints. We actually got our model from Murray District, so if you're from Murray, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, and so this is something that they do that we would like to eventually take and have a print of the month, have different things that students could take home to their families and teachers share at their classrooms. Thank you so much for listening to us. We're always happy to talk about this and help you plan. And if you have questions, come up. Otherwise, have a great USET.
Thank you.